What up?
So, with the release of the news that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is coming back for its 8th and final season in August, we have decided on our downtime to revisit the entire series.
Yeah.
And we haven't rewatched this one. We've watched it religiously as it's come out, but we haven't yet gone back. So it's...
I feel like it's one of, or maybe the only sitcom that we've really enjoyed that we've never really rewatched any of it.
Right. So the time was ripe.
Very much so.
So we got the pilot, introduction of all the characters. Holt comes in as the new captain.
Yeah, it's his first day. That's how the show kind of starts, which, with a cast like this, it's pretty common that it starts with, one joining or all of them coming together. You don't have the pilot with a pre-established cast.
Right.
Set of friends or whatever.
Yeah. So...
But Holt's the only new one.
Right. Everyone else has been together.
Mm.
So we got some notes. First note. I forget sometimes how cool Peralta is.
Yeah. He gets more comfortable in his own skin. I mean, he was fine in this one, but he was more like the cocky jock guy.
Mm-hmm. The goofball class clown.
Yeah.
But still really good at his job. The fact that he went to the crime scene early, like the opening crime scene, he went early, and it was a robbery of an electronics store, and he's like, well, I figured there's got to be some camera working, and it was the nanny cam. So, right off the bat, he's good at what he does. He's just...
kind of a dick about it.
Yeah.
So, your typical, House, Dr. Cox,
Yeah.
all those guys, but
yeah,
different.
Like a combination of JD and Dr. Cox, sort of.
Sort of.
JD's like the goofball.
Right.
Peralta isn't as much of a dick as Cox is.
That just happened.
You know what I mean. So.
Right.
And, yeah, I was going to say also Santiago is clearly amused by his antics early on with that little smile.
Yeah. They work together, and they're both... I don't know if either one of them is a head detective.
No, I don't think there is a head detective.
There isn't one. Okay. But they're both, leading this race. They have a bet going of who gets the most arrests, and they're clearly two of the best, and they... have a little competition going, and yeah, she's clearly amused by his antics.
Yeah, and I like that they set it up early on, but they didn't shove it down your throat so that, spoiler alert, when they do finally get together, it does feel natural. It doesn't feel like they were just smushing characters together just because. They very clearly early on set up something, but they didn't throw it at you too quickly. They let it slow burn.
And neither of them were a new character being established. So, as far as, in-universe goes.
Right.
They already knew each other. They've been working together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It
was new girl, I'm going to get her.
Right, yeah. You don't have to deal with any of that. I kind of like that they just jump in with this established group. It makes it...
relationships.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to just jump in.
Yeah. So, already established that Holt is starting that day. Then they had a little flashback to the former captain. He said, the former captain was John Candy's brother?
Yes, he was. They had a little they briefly showed the former captain, McGinley or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, that guy looks like John Candy. And yeah, it's his brother. His last name is not Candy, but it is his brother.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Nice! I am rubbing off on you.
Yeah, how am I?
Like, because I was like, he looked kind of familiar, but I thought he was just kind of that guy. Like, see him in a sitcom here or there kind of thing.
Sure. No,
wow. Huh. All right. So there's that.
What's that?
So then, Holt getting himself set up. He has Sergeant Cruz, Terry, come in, give him kind of a briefing on the detectives. But he was like, they worked together before.
Wait, did they call him Sergeant Cruz?
Oh no, I guess not. That's the the actor.
Yeah, I was
Sergeant. What is his last name? Jeffers.
Okay. Phew. Thought I was going crazy for a second there.
Sorry, my bad. But they worked together before, and Holt's like, you look different, and Terry's like, yeah, lost some weight, and they used to call him Terry Titties. And Holt is just like...
Yes, because you had...
Well, then he's like, he says something like, I never liked that, but it was true. Like, in a very Holt way. So, yeah, and then, you've been on administrative leave, and my wife just had twins. They're a year old, Cagney and Lacey.
Weird, because, they're, like, they've been growing as the show's gone on, so I was like, oh, they were one when the show started. Holy crap.
But there was...
Cagney and Lacey.
there was an incident.
Yes, they, Jake and Terry were out on a job, and Jake was like, Terry, you doing okay? You look a little jumpy. He's like, no, I'm fine, it's okay. He jumps around the corner, he's startled by a mannequin, just, he just unloads on it.
And Jake, I think he got him. I think he killed him. I think he's dead.
I think he's dead.
So, then we're getting the breakdown of the detectives, and Terry mentions Scully and Hitchcock, but then there's this Daniels chick.
Yeah.
Which I do not remember her at all.
I think she probably was sacrificed to the pilot gods.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever came back around to what happened to her.
I'll be interested to find out.
Yeah.
Because I do not remember her at all. But,
no.
Hitchcock and Scully, they're useless, but they make good coffee.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. The whole intro sequence is from Terry's introduction to all the detectives, except Amy.
Yeah. So, the opening sequence they've kept for the entire series.
Yeah, I love that they've never changed it.
Yeah. Yeah, but as it goes to each actor, it's this...
They did change it slightly when they made Scully and Hitchcock more central, and when Gina
left.
Of
course. Naturally. But yeah, as the sequence goes on, it's all the same scenes that we see when Terry is describing each person to Holt.
Yeah. He does say that Jake is the best detective.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's really good. He's smart. He loves puzzles. He's really good at solving them. The only puzzle he hasn't solved is how to grow up. And Holt is like,
that's very well said.
Like, Jake comes up a lot in my court mandated therapy sessions, or my precinct mandated therapy sessions, whatever. But yeah, Amy's is the only one that hers is like at the following crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. We noted that Rose's voice has gotten deeper. In this pilot episode, her voice is more high pitched.
Yeah, she still has the same cadence and speaks the same way, but it's higher pitched.
Yeah, which apparently you said that's how that actress actually naturally talks, and she goes deeper for her character.
Yeah, if you ever watch an interview with her, she's actually quite bubbly, and yeah, her voice is kind of like this, and you know, it's just a lot of fun. It's like, holy smokes.
You know what? Amy and Jake's casual bets are so fun. Because, yeah, you know, they're doing the... It's not really important to the plot itself, like the, you know, catching the bad guy part. Like, okay, it's a guy was killed, he liked ham. His last name was Morgenthau, though, which struck me only because of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Right.
Carly Morgenthau. And the murder victim was Henry Morgenthau. And
Yeah.
so, I don't know, it was just like,
Wow, that's weird.
now I'm going to be looking for...
Marvel references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, if we've missed Marvel references throughout this entire series, I'm going to freak out.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising because we didn't get into Marvel until, like, a year ago?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, I mean, with the exception of S.H.I.E.L.D., but...
But that was so outside of canon, sadly.
It's not, though. Alternate timelines.
Hashtag my canon.
So, yeah, you know, they're investigating and just, yeah, casual bets, fun, don't really need to get into it. You know, it's weird watching Jake be such a dick to Holt.
Yeah, because, you know, later on is so obsessed with getting Holt's approval that it's just really weird to see him openly rebelling against him.
Yeah. Because it's not what he's used to. He doesn't like change. I mean, he's a child of divorce.
Yeah.
You know, so kind of going a little deep there, but, you know, he doesn't follow protocol. He gets in trouble. He's put on records duty. Holt comes to talk to him, and Jake is wearing a tie. Notes that like the tie. Jake pretty much solves the case by working in records, which just shows he is good.
Shows he is good, and it shows that Holt isn't just like benching his best person. He knows that Jake will do good work there.
Yeah. But then Jake stands up and he's wearing a Speedo, and Holt just completely turns it around on him and has the whole team come in, and I was like, oh, cringe moment. But then everyone comes in and they're, you know, oh yeah, laughing, and then Jake just embraces it.
Owns it.
And it occurred to me that this is why I like this show so much. They're not afraid to go a little cringy, but they don't go over the top cringy because the characters are so spot on that they essentially just embrace it. They're natural about it. It's like, okay.
Well, and again, part of that is probably because they're a pretty well established group of, if not friends, you know, coworkers, good working relationship. Jake knows who he is, and you know he likes the attention. So
and he protested like,
oh no, don't do. Yeah.
And then he just and it makes it easier to watch the cringe moments. Because, you know, sitcoms have to have,
of course,
to a certain degree, but the show does such a good job of like towing the line, but not going like full Office.
And there's another note that I didn't write down, but so that scene was used.
Glorious.
It was glorious. That scene was used a lot in the promos for this show starting.
I don't even remember that.
I do, because I was a little bit hesitant to watch this show because I was like, what was that? Like, is this just trying to be Reno 911?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like, this looks kind of dumb slapstick. Typical Fox fashion to completely undermine the actual feeling. Right, because it was
on Fox first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely undermine the actual feeling of the show with their promos.
Right.
You know, that's what they did to Firefly.
They did a good job with New Girl, though.
Yes, I don't really remember the promos, but no, it seemed to fit as I recall. But yeah, so particularly it was that scene's inclusion, which is funny because, you know, that scene is a bit of an outlier. That's not 90% of what happens in the show at all.
Right, and it's a pilot, so
It's a
they were
pilot.
probably gonna try to go in one direction and didn't, so it was fine.
They're like, wait, we can actually have a good cop show that is still a sitcom, not just a slapstick whatever fest.
Yeah, or like a procedural cop show like this.
It balances really well.
Yeah, and so they're at this stakeout, and Holt, Peralta's like, oh, why'd it take you so long to, get a crew or whatever.
Get a gig as a captain.
Yeah, and he's like, well, because I'm gay.
Wait, what?
Really? He's like,
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't notice.
yeah, I'm not.
I don't try to hide it.
Yeah, and then you see these little flashes, like
He's got mounted on his wall the
like first openly gay,
whatever position.
and obviously we all heard Gina's get a little gay vibe from him, and then the manscaping bitch, manscaping, and then Pearls is like, I am a bad detective. But you noted Holt complaining about the department parading his homosexuality out in the open is interesting.
Yeah, he was like, they were resistant to have me hold any kind of position in being openly gay
Until the old guard.
until the old guard left, and then they were all too happy to put it front and center that I was gay, but they still relegated me to
Something, yeah.
public relations or something like that. And eventually I got my own crew, whatever.
And I'm not going to mess it up. And
Right.
that is what gets Jake on board.
Yes, because at the end of the day, Jake doesn't care who you are. He cares that you care about your job and that you're going to do everything you can to do well at your job.
Right. Which, given the captain he had before, like, he didn't have to do much.
Yeah.
And then, they get the guy, and Jake, he's like, oh, I get the tie thing now, because, it's a uniform and we're a team, and
You're the coach.
you're the coach. And it was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And it was a really good bed to start.
Yeah. Jake respects Holt. Holt understands Jake.
And they'll still have their struggles.
Yeah. Because, their personalities are vastly different. But Holt knows what an asset he has in Jake. And he and Terry even had a conversation where he was like, I don't know, they established that, yeah, we'll work on Peralta.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a personal project of his almost, too.
Yeah. And then you've got Amy, and we didn't really talk a whole lot about her, but, she's got 7 brothers, so she's constantly,
Trying to prove herself.
and, she keeps referring to, Holt as, like, oh, if I'm ever going to be captain someday, I need a mentor, I need a rabbi, and,
Peralta. Don't call him that. You know how it turns me on when you say that. When you
and
use
they
that
didn't
term.
go in a that's offensive direction, because, Peralta's Jewish.
Right.
So, I like how the show does tackle certain social justice type themes. With maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, they don't go over the top with it. They don't shove it down your throat. They're not woke about it. They're
Right.
just like, here it is.
They definitely got a little bit more heavy-handed when they moved to NBC. That was
Sure.
a noticeable tone change, but it's still good.
Yeah. So,
All right.
that's all I got.
Cool.
So,
Good times.
yep.